So I just had a great conversation with someone that I respect and trust, and I was talking about how do you influence people to do better or do more things or excel at their job. And we were talking about our organization versus another organization. The other organization that is doing very well is a very high-end organization where the bar is extremely high, and if you want to perform, well, I mean, they say, hey, thanks for playing, but this ain't for you. But for our organization, it's a very large organization, and the requirements of the job, the bar is pretty low. Like, it's for the masses, so like it's very broad spectrum. So like the bar is fairly low for basically doing what's required of you. Now, if you just want to be a mediocre organization, you just let people come to work, do enough to get over the bar, and then they go on about their life. And for some people, that's all they want, that's all they need. But how do you influence, or how do you encourage others to go above and beyond? Well, first thing I think of, and kind of thinking about the organization that is the high performer, there is a sense of pride in that organization that they have that most organizations don't. It is a organization that you are extremely proud of to be in because of what it takes to be in that organization, the effort level, the what you have to put forth to get into that organization gives you a sense of pride, like, I am part of this group. I am an elite. I have shown my worth, and I am part of this organization. And you have this mentality of like, I am going to ensure, one, that I stay in this organization by continually to perform typically better than your peers. You try to outperform your peers to showcase yourself. And that's one of the entry points, I think, is that level of pride. So I think if you want your organization to excel and not just get over the bar, as I've said, is there has to be a sense of pride. Now, how do you give people the incentive, or how do you give that sense of pride to a unit? And I think it's through individual accomplishments to start. Say you're like, our organization isn't that well known. I think showcasing exceptional individuals that come from within your organization gives the organization itself a little bit of bragging rights, and then others kind of like ride the coattails of that pride. So as an organizational leader, you have to find those individuals who are already excelling, because that's just who they are. You're going to have a small percentage of workers who are going to excel no matter what. It's ingrained in their DNA. It's just their work ethic. It's what they are. You have to highlight all of those people so that others might see, like, wow, that dude's really putting out a lot of effort. She's doing great things. Not only does it give the organization internally a sense of pride, but it also starts to showcase your organization outside of your small circle, so that somebody on the outside, a high performer, might be like, wow, those guys are doing great things. I want to be a part of them. So now you're bringing in more high-performing individuals. And then it snowballs. You have a few high performers, start bringing in more high performers, And it just starts to grow, and then you become this organization of nothing but high performers, because those high performers are coming to you. I think also as a leader, you have to be a high performer yourself. In our organization, physical fitness is an easy way to showcase the performance of our unit. So if you as an individual are not going out and doing things that showcase not only your talent and your prowess, you're missing the mark. And I'm not saying you got to go win an Olympic gold medal or do something crazy. But if the people below you see that, holy cow, that guy's older than me, that guy's been here longer than I have, he should be, not doing this stuff, but he's still out there, he's doing a 10K, or just seeing that you're in the gym every day, crushing workouts, or whatever your organization does. If you're wrapped around sales, just because you're the boss doesn't mean you can't go out to sales calls, or doesn't mean you can't go out and do the things that your organization does. If you're the leader, you should be the subject matter expert. So if you're not going out showing your subordinates that you still have what it takes to be the top guy in the organization, then nobody's going to follow you. You're not a leader anymore, you're just a boss, and there's a huge difference between the two. So as a leader, you've got to be out there. And not only while you are out there doing it, you're out there with your workers. They see your presence. They see that you just don't sit in the office. You aren't there just to find the mistakes they're doing. You're actually out there doing the same stuff. I had a discussion today with someone in the fitness world, and we were talking about suffering through workouts. Now, there's something great about suffering through a workout all by yourself. And I tend to actually find, myself doing workouts alone because no one wants to join me. But through my social media and me posting my workouts, I do encourage, I do influence others to get out there and do it. But something big within our unit and across the world, shared hardship. There is no stronger bond than a group that has went through something extremely difficult that brings them all together. There are people that I have done some crazy stuff with that I haven't seen in a long time, but we still talk. We still message each other. We send memes while we're sitting on the toilet because, that's what we do now. There's a bond that is never broken because we had a shared hardship. So as a leader, if you're out there with your workers, with your subordinates, sharing in that hardship, you're going to create a bond. And when you ask something of them, when you ask them to go above and beyond their daily duties and scopes, there is leadership capital that you have that allows you to influence them. And you can't just burn it all out all at once. Just here and there, hey, we're going to go do this. We're going to go crush it. They're going to buy into it. So how do you influence your organization to be a better organization? One, you got to highlight those individuals who are already exceptional, who are already exceeding the standard. Highlight them, which brings pride to the unit. That attracts more talent. Bring that talent in. Start building the group of exceptional individuals so that it snowballs and your unit becomes more and more recognizable as a unit that excels. But then as a leader, you cannot fall behind. You have to do the same thing. You have to continue as a leader to excel. You have to be down in the trenches with your workers doing the hard stuff all of the time. You have to be present. This builds your leadership capital. And that way, when you ask them something, they are more likely to say yes than to just think of you as like, oh, here he goes again. Old boss behind his desk coming up with some great armchair general stuff again. And you also have to remember that it is not about you as the leader. It doesn't matter if you go out and do great stuff. Everything that the unit, the organization, the company, the whatever, everything that is accomplished is done by the worker at the lowest level. You might have a great idea, you might pitch it, you might help resource it or whatever, but the workers on the ground are the ones who made it happen. They're the ones that achieved excellence. And if you don't give them credit, and if you don't highlight them as the ones who have put in the work, who have done the dirty deed or whatever you want to call it, and just grinded it out, you're missing an opportunity to build more leadership capital. It's not about you. It's about those guys at the lowest level grinding it out. Highlight the high performers. Be a high performer yourself, and give credit to your subordinates, because they're the ones who are going to bring unit pride. Those are the ones who are going to showcase how talented your organization is, and that's going to bring you in the high performers. That's how you can influence your unit to be a unit of excellence and become a place where everyone else wants to come because they have pride and they see the pride in that unit. So, if you're not high performing right now and you're a leader, you got some work to do.